His emotional, historic Dallas homecoming. It helps secure the 3 seed. And this is wild to me, UD. This marks the first time LeBron will have home court advantage since coming to Los Angeles. Isn't that crazy? Wow. There are 3 potential first-round opponents for the Lakers, right? The Timberwolves, the Nuggets, and the Warriors. Here's how each scenario is possible. Minnesota would be the 6th seed with a win and wins by the Clippers and the Nuggets. Remember, the Nuggets play Houston. Houston is playing their guys in this one. Denver would be the 6th seed with a loss and wins by the Clippers and Timberwolves. And for the Warriors, their easiest path to be the 6th seed is just win today against the Clippers. Now, the Lakers, they have the second best odds to win the Western Conference. But standings aside, do you think they're the second best team in the West, Stephen A?
I think at this particular moment in time, you can say that. I know that Houston is the number 2 seed. I believe in Ime Udoka. Them young thoroughbreds can ball. I still think they're a piece away, or I should say a year away as opposed to a piece, because even though Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet are on that squad, I still think you need somebody else from a leadership veteran standpoint to help them. But I think they've got the pieces, and they certainly have the coach. It's just that with the Los Angeles Lakers, you see LeBron and Luka together. And the elevated play of Austin Reeves can no longer be ignored. And, oh, by the way, I want to say something that I don't consider it bold at all. J.J. Redick is going to win himself a championship one day as a coach in the near future. I think he's proven to be that exceptional and that locked in and that zeroed in. Might not be this year, but with Luka and LeBron, I can't summarily dismiss them against anybody outside of OKC. I think the way that they've looked right now with their experience, their playoff experience, you got to see one of these younger teams, like a Houston, I got to see them take them out to believe it.
I see these two have been looking at each other the entire time you've been talking. Why? What are you keying about over here?
JJ has done an amazing job, but we do not give Houston their flowers, and you slightly did. But, yes, they might be young, but I'm looking at a team who has 5 guys starting in their starting lineup that average double figures. When we look at what Luka was able to go against last year against Boston, he wasn't able to hide. This is a team where if they played him in a 7-game series, he's not going to be able to hide. By the way, they're 14th in offense, but they're 2nd in defense, so they can guard. And on the other end, they're 1st in rebounding. The Lakers are 26 in rebounding. In a 7-game series, when you're in the mud, nobody's running any players you haven't seen before. It comes down to physicality. It comes down to grit. It comes down to muscle. I'm looking at that team, and I'm saying, okay, yeah, everybody says the Lakers. I say Houston.
I disagree with you both. I get y'all points. Here's the reason with the Rockets. I feel like in a 7-game series, with all the superstar power you have in the Western Conference, you need that closer, right? When the game gets tight in the fourth quarter, you need that guy that's going to be able to go toe-to-toe with a Jokic or Luka and LeBron or SGA. I just feel like they don't have that right now consistently. But I'm with you. I love what I'm seeing out of the Rockets. Here's the problem that I have with the Lakers, right? They don't match up well with Golden State at all, right? They don't match up well with the Clippers, in my opinion, at all. Any team that has the versatility to switch on the perimeter defensively causes problems for the Lakers. And that's what the Golden State exposed about a week ago when they played the Lakers, because Luka was trying to search people out. He trying to search, who you going to search out? I'm going to bring Draymond up? Nope, because Draymond can switch. He's a smart enough defender. Can I bring up Podziemski? Nope, Podziemski. Enough body, enough IQ to defend. So, again, when I look at the perimeter defense that the Clippers have, Kawhi, Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, who we don't talk about enough, who's one of Ty Lue's favorite players, I'm just looking at it, it's OKC and everybody else.
So who shouldn't the Lakers want to see in the first round? Let's assume today that Minnesota gets the win over Utah, and I think the Nuggets are going to get the win.
I would say the team they shouldn't want to see is the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
Yes.
Because of Steph Curry, because of the experience that Steph Curry, Jimmy Buckets, along with Draymond Green bring to the table, the exceptional coaching of Steve Kerr, one of the top 6 coaches of all time. There is no debating that. When you look at everything that they have in play, their perimeter shooting, their ability to hit free throws, etc. I think all of these things, and their defensive prowess, because they can, even though they're undersized, they can get at you like a bunch of piranhas. When you look at Golden State in that regard, that could be a bigger problem in my mind, more so than Houston. to answer the question about the Lakers.
Nah, I'm still going with Houston. Once again, I'm going.
But they wouldn't match up with Houston until the second round, so first round. Yeah. So when you're looking at their most likely first round opponent, who don't they want to see?
They don't want to see Golden State.
Okay.
I agree with that. I agree. Nobody wants to see Steph in the first round in a 7-game series. And you made the trade for Jimmy Butler at the halfway mark. You got rid of a guy like Andrew Wiggins, a guy who we can say in 2022 was probably your best player in that finals. So you make that move to get to the finals. You don't make that move to lose in the first round or to get in the play-in. So yes, the pressure's on. I say they don't want to see Golden State with Golden State's back against the wall.
And then we got to point out, what are the Lakers great at, right, defensively? They're great at boxes and elbows, taking away the paint, taking away drives, and giving up wide-open threes. And we were on here with Bob Myers, and Bob Myers was like, that can't work throughout the course of the postseason. And it definitely can't work against Golden State because Golden State is going to make you pay if you leave them open. So it's no taking away, sagging, and giving up wide-open threes and saying, oh, we don't believe you can shoot because they can shoot. Here's the thing about the Rockets, too, again. The Rockets are 25th in the league for us made threes. Yeah. You got to be able to make shots, UD. You got to be
Houston and Memphis, that's their Achilles.
Houston and Memphis.
Coming up here momentarily, we just talked about it. No bigger game on the schedule, at least today, than Clippers and Warriors. We're all looking at Steph Curry.
Yeah, listen, we're going to be watching that thumb. They certainly could use the rest. It's so crazy. It's an 82-game regular season, and we're coming down to the final day to see who's going to avoid the play-in. As we say hello to Malika Andrews and the Countdown crew. Hey there.
Hey, Hannah, thank you so very much. Yes, she's right. It all comes down to this, gentlemen. Just one day in the regular season left this afternoon, and there's only 3 things we know in the Western Conference. That means that things are going to get wild. Stephen A., it essentially could come down to the last game here on ESPN, the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors, for who's in, who's out. What are you watching most closely in this one?
Well, I want to see what the Clippers, I mean, listen, they've won 7 straight. They've won 9 of their last 10. They've won 14 of their last 16 games. The Clippers are making major noise. I watched my man Big Perk while I was on vacation talking about this might be the second best team in the Western Conference. We can't rule that out, but tonight would be an ideal time for them to show that because losing, there's still a possibility that you can end up in the play-in. And if you're the Clippers, that means more games for Kawhi Leonard. Is he going to be healthy? No. You want to play that. You want that brother playing the least amount of games as possible. I think it's an important game for the Clippers.
I'm looking at the Clippers, and I'm watching their defense. They've had the best defense since March 5th, #1 defense in the NBA. And when I think about them getting stops, they're going to be able to score, right? But how are they going to be able to contain Steph Curry, who's been busting everybody behind over the last 2 weeks? And so I'm looking at that matchup. I'm looking at Big Zubac down low, averaging a monster double-double, anchoring that defense. By the way, up for Defensive Player of the Year, right? Ain't saying too much. He politicked a little bit, but he up for Defensive Player of the Year. So this is going to come down to a game of stops.
I mean, I know you talked about Kawhi and is he going to be healthy, but when he is healthy, the last 5 games he has been more than healthy. 26 points a game, 5 rebounds a game. We talk about what James is doing, getting a little older, but 24 points a game, 10 assists a game. So, and Big Zubac. What are they going to do with Big Zubac down there in the paint? They can do everything they can want. Steph, we know nobody can stop Steph. You can kind of contain Jimmy. You can kind of match those guys up with Kawhi. You can kind of match them up with but who's going to stop Zubac?
You played with Jimmy Butler. When it comes down to these single-game elimination, essentially, when you're talking about play-in versus being a top 6 seed in the Western Conference, take us inside Jimmy's mindset for these types of games.
Ultimate competitor. Chinese checkers, tennis. You see him in Miami. He's playing dominoes with the Cubans on South Beach. He is the ultimate competitor. This brings the best out of Jimmy Butler. I think he loves competition more than he loves basketball.
When I think about the Golden State Warriors, there's one name that comes to my mind is Draymond Green. You the one that made the guarantee during All-Star weekend. You the one that said y'all going to win the championship. You guarantee you going to win the championship. Oh, no. You can't be in no play-in. No. You can't be going home in the first round. Nope. That's the man that said they're going to win the chip. And he has the credentials to back it up. He's a 4-time champion. He's in my vote for Defensive Player of the Year. He knows what it takes to win. Let's see what he does in a situation.
The most important player on their team tonight is Draymond, because he's going to be the only one that got a chance in hell on stopping Zubac.
Well, there's one more player that's pretty important for this Golden State Warriors team, and that is Steph Curry. He is questionable coming into this game. Remember, he sustained that thumb sprain. We're going to have an update from Shams Charania coming up here on NBA Countdown. You're going to want to tune into that to see whether or not Steph Curry is going to be in uniform for this all-important game for the Golden State Warriors. For now, Shay, sending it back to you.
Thank you, Malika. Remember, we'll see you guys at the top of the hour here on ESPN. Of course, we're all going to be watching for Steph Curry as Tyler Fulgham's back with us, our betting analyst here on SportsCenter. Of course, this game means so much.
Right.
Winner avoids the play-in. We know this. Best bets. What do you got? Clippers,
All right,
Warriors.
so we talked about this game in the 10 o'clock hour, and the lines are moving a little bit with this game. It is back up to now the Clippers being a 4.5-point underdog. I still like the Clippers, even though this line is moving towards Golden State. I think Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Ivica Zubac have been playing great basketball since March. They have the #1 net rating in the NBA. They're 17-3, and they've covered 14 of those 20 games. I like them to keep this game close, if not win outright. The total also on the move, Shay, up 2 points. It was 218.5 when we talked earlier. It's now 220.5. And again, I'm still on the play that is going away from the move. I like the under here. I just think there's going to be a playoff atmosphere where defensive intensity is ratcheted up. The game slows down in terms of possessions in the fourth quarter, and guys are playing 40-plus minutes like we saw from Kawhi Leonard last time out.
Okay, so if the public thinks it's moving up, your trend would be a bigger value, correct?
I'm going under with a little bit of value there, thinking that's the right play.
Nice call, Tyler.